client positioned on the bed. In the first position, you want to have the arms off the edges of the bed because you want the chest area to be nice and open. Quite often the client will bring the arm on the back or they'll bring the arm round the front. Don't be afraid to reposition your client. It's your treatment, you're in charge, okay? Now, the feet here, they're two together. If we're going to be working on the legs, we want to have some room to be working. So let's get the legs further apart so that this exactly, it's nice and open and it's free. And that's what I call a nice playground now to start assessing the client and what's going on with them. Okay. So again, I like to feel the energy of the client. She's got a necklace on. Let's just take that off. Just lift that for me. Just this on the chair here. Yeah. So just assist the client. If they've got a bra on, if they've not taken their bra off, sometimes they get a bit mixed up or there's jewellery. Just do it in the beginning because once you start working, you don't want to stop. Okay. So I like to just have a bit of an assessment where I'm visually looking at the client. Now I know that Molly's pretty strong. I've worked on Molly before. She tends to carry more of her tension here. This is what I call her power side. So I like to just collect my own energy and then connect with the client, okay, even before we go into effleurage, okay? And straight away, as soon as I've got my hands in her, she's a little bit stressed out. So as I'm touching here, the throat, it's starting to vibrate behind my eyeballs, so I can feel she's got a little bit of tension happening there in the head too. We can also be pulsing the lower part of the spine here. When you pulse, it allows you to feel the mobility of the hip. And again, I can feel this side here is much tighter than this side. Okay. Visually as well, you can see here the erector spinae. It's actually sitting further through the towel than the other side. Now we want to meet and greet the feet, okay? So again, we do this to assess the mobility of the legs, and I can actually visually see as well. If you come and stand here, girls, and you have a look, you can see here that the muscle tissue is raised higher than that side. Okay, so she's got what's called instantly muscle imbalances. Here is tighter, but she's also tighter there as well, right? So when we meet and greet the feet, you want to scoop and lift the ankles, slide your hands back so you're on the pads of the feet, shuggle, okay, and then this allows you to assess the legs on where it's tight. Now as you move from one side to the other, you can feel as well the mobility of the ankles and she's slightly tighter coming up. That's the lateral line, so you've got your IT band in there, and that connects down into the little toes. So she's slightly tighter there, but visually we can see that hip area there. Okay, that certainly looks to be tighter than the other side. And then we want to do a little bit of draping. And your correct draping is to tuck the towel underneath the shorts or the pants. And we want to be making sure that it's not sitting here, okay? You want to have access to the hips on both sides, but we're not coming into glute max area. We'll come into glute max area next week and the week after, but for holistic, it's here, okay? Now, our dry work, again, these are all little add-ons that are not part of technically holistic massage. But I've found over the years that if you do this, you'll end up doing a better massage with the client. Okay, so it's a bit of myofascial release. So we just want to have one hand here at the base of the spine. And with your other hand, I call this the aeroplane. Imagine an aeroplane coming in. So we're assessing the top traps. It's hooking behind the top trap. You're pulling the top trap up and you're squeezing coming down. Okay, so she's pretty tight there. We're then working with, these are digital fingers. We're coming down the erector spinae. So you want to feel for the tension. So she's actually tighter here than she is here. And then we're coming here at the coccyx area, the base of the spine, and we're coming over that glute. And that does feel super tight. And you want to be working about an inch apart to assess where the tension is and how tight is she. Okay, now she doesn't actually feel too tight on the rotator cuff area. Round to the other side. Come round here so you can see me. when I'm teaching, don't be afraid to move around the room so you can see what I'm doing, okay? It's the same techniques on this side, okay? So this shoulder is a lot tighter than the other shoulder, right? Okay, and this area here is much tighter than here, okay? So I'm getting the information, where is she tight? How's this going? And again, that, visually I was correct, that is a lot softer than this. Because when you start to work, you need to know where it is you're going to be working. If the muscle tissue is nice and soft, there's no point in working on that area. If it's really tight, then what the massage therapist does is it loosens. We loosen the muscle tissue. We want to bring that body into a better state of looseness. So back in the day when I first went to massage school, we were all taught how to do a routine. And there are some schools, especially in France, when I've had, who's from France? Yeah, especially some students I've had here that have come in from France, and they've gone to schools there and they're taught how to do a routine, and they'll come here and they'll still say to me, I still don't know what I'm doing. I don't really understand how to...
Yeah, that's why I didn't do it back then.
Right? I still don't understand really how to loosen the muscle tissue.
Yeah.
So I'll show them how to do it and they'll be like, great, and they've gone on to do really well. Okay, so then come round here. So we're going to assess now both areas at the same time. So you want to take double thumbs coming up, that's the cervical spine, out across the hairline. So I'm assessing how tight the neck is. Now she's actually really quite tight there and there. And then double thumbs on the top traps, taking it out. So what you've got here is the top traps. You've got the erector spinae.
Sorry.
You've then got the rhomboid area coming over as well. You've then got the lower traps, and then you've got the lat dorsi. So you've got quite a lot of crossovers coming in with the muscle tissue. And straight away, because you're doing both sides at the same time, you can really feel she's really stuck. That's the scapula, the bone. And typically you can find under the scapula that the muscle can get really, it's what's called hypertonic, where the whole thing feels really restricted. And then we can get knots, trigger points, etc. So you can feel there, she's got some stuff going on. And then coming down the erector spinae on either side, and then up over these hips, you can really feel there again, that's a lot tighter than there. And then just take it into an effleurage back. So my assessment from that is visually looking at the client, okay? So I meet and greet, I feel her, she's quite stressed out. I'm mobilising the hips. I know this hip visually, this is bigger, it's tighter. Then when I meted and greeted the feet and I'm shiggling, I can feel the restriction happening here at this side. And then I bring the towel down, I do my dry work. So we've got the aeroplane, we've got our digital fingers, we've got our double thumb myofascial release coming down. And that's given me even more information, okay, that I know, whoa, she's super tight there, she's super tight there, she's super tight there. Okay, that's looser, this area here is looser, this shoulder's looser than that, but she's still got some problems there. And the neck, on both sides, right there, is where she's actually holding tight. So this information, I then take this because it's going to help me decide on, well, how long am I going to spend on each area? So again, back in the day, we were taught, okay, 8 times, 3 times this way, 3 times this way, 4 times there, 4 times there. And you were a robot, you did exactly the same on everybody that came through the door that you've experienced as well. This is rubbish, it's rubbish massage. You're never going to be able to get a business from this, okay? So this is why you do your dry work, is to understand where the tension actually is. Okay, so again, for her, it's here. That is tighter than that. She's also tighter down there, and it's tighter there too. Okay, right, I want you, one at a time, just to repeat what I've done. And also, please know that it takes you time to learn how to feel what's tight and what's not tight. It will maybe even be next week or the week after, or maybe by Wednesday, Thursday or Friday, that you'll be going, okay, well that feels soft, that feels tight. In the first few days, just get a hang of the techniques and try and follow what it is that I'm saying. And if you can feel softness and tension, then that's brilliant, but don't beat yourself up if you're like, I don't have a clue what you're going on about, because you will get it. Okay, right, who would like to come first?
pressure.